Hello everybody, welcome back. It is our second series of the day, Alliance versus Cloud9. Another rematch on our hands. even if we may think Run to the Groups was a little bit more, well, maybe a little bit more tougher, not as clear cut. It definitely turned out that the seeding was kind of right. Right, gods? It seems like our presumably our seeded 2 and 3 teams in both these groups match up against each other, and then are going to have a rematch to determine second place within their groups.
Yeah, absolutely. I guess Group A was like, I don't know what Bears were seeded going in.
Yeah, I think Bears.
The 4 seed.
I think Bears were the 4th seed, honestly, because they're a new
seed.
team, right? Like you can't seed them anywhere else.
Yeah, that's why the groups were so fucked up. Like, I mean, you can criticize the groups all you want, but end of the day, I don't think Bears have earned a high seed just because of their roster. So the result is that Secret and Na'Vi had a tough time because of that, and Na'Vi go out in the groups. But over time, those things will balance themselves out.
Yeah, absolutely. Na'Vi still have, I think, a lot of improvement to be made, and they will have the opportunity to make that improvement. So it's not like DAC is the end of the line here. We're going to go into Alliance versus Cloud9 with our fan favorite. Start our first pick for Alliance. And
different bands, so very different bands. Disruptor, I mean, Meepo ban is like the respect ban towards Ace. See a few teams first stage banning it against certain players, but IO Tiny against Alliance, sure. Limps Tiny, take it out. Disruptor first stage ban. We saw C9 going for a couple first stage disruptors yesterday, but they also really like heroes like the Rubik as well, so I don't think that's going to throw them off too much.
Yeah, it is. This is a ban pool that maybe we didn't see in the last series, but I feel like a lot of teams do this 1-2 ban against Alliance and ban away the Wisp as well as a Tiny, just because Limps Tiny is that threatening.
Yep. And a first stage Shadow Fiend. So almost maybe like a part block pick, worried about a second pick from Alliance. Like the physical damage carries go very well with Slider, but there's also still the Weaver there, so I don't feel like you necessarily could have jumped to the full conclusion they were going for it. And Alliance goes Sniper right off the bat as the pseudo laning stage counter to the SF. Sniper does match up very well against the SF in the early stages, but this is an SF with an Ogre support.
Yeah, I'm feeling like Sniper is gonna have to have a support with him in the beginning, because Sniper's range is not that good at level 1. Ogre is going to be the threatening force that allows SF to be able to get the souls necessary, and then it'll go from Sniper having the attack damage advantage to then SF having a clear CS advantage once he starts racking up those souls. So Alliance, presumably they have some sort of plan in mind to be able to deal with this one, but so far our lineups look very similar. A tanky strength hero picked up that maybe support on the side of Alliance, maybe an offlaner, we'll have to see, and then a ranged mid laner, glass cannon, does a lot of physical damage, very similar lineups. Cloud9, I would hazard to say, are probably going to have a little bit more team fight power, but we'll have to see how our 3-4 bans come out. Cloud9, of course, going to ban away the Lifestealer anytime there's a Slardar. If teams want to pick up Slardar, Lifestealer as a 1-2, I think they're more than welcome to. Most teams are going to be able to deal with that, but you don't want to give that Lifestealer Slardar an option as a like 4th pickup.
Yeah, and we saw, I mean, that was, I think, one of the downfalls of Nip yesterday, is that Loader got his hands on that 3rd, 4th pick Lifestealer multiple games in a row with a Slardar on his team, and Nip just didn't show enough respect towards the pick and just how well Loader could play it. So Cloud9, having seen those games, I mean, I think we'll see like second stage bans Lifestealers, even without a Slardar, it may be worthy of a ban, but even more so because of it. So see what Loader ends up on as a result instead. The Weaver's still in the pool. We could see something like Avenge still stands out as a good pick, either as a support or a core for either team. I mean, you're looking at pretty heavy physical damage drafts, so Avenge is definitely a top pick still. But things fairly open for the two teams as far as their carries go.
Yeah, I like Venge as a 3rd pick here for Cloud9, because first of all, it'll take it away from Alliance, who play a lot of that hero, but also the fact that the core Venge, especially with the Ogre Magi, is very threatening, and I think you have to draft around that idea, and then Cloud9 could just be like, oh no, actually with this 4th pick, you know, we're just doing a Venge support. So they could threaten this very powerhouse, like, we're going to hit mid-game really hard, we're going to have a ton of physical damage, and Alliance may have to draft some heroes, some sort of sustain or something to be able to beef up in regard to that threat, whether it is support or core.
Yep. Yeah, I totally agree. So Darkseid, the other ban from Cloud9. This is partly why the lifesteal snuck through, is because Nip felt like they needed to ban heroes like Darkseid that pair up with Slatter and didn't really reserve bans towards the loader heroes. So overall game plan for Alliance, we'll have to wait and see. They typically like to fight around some of those timings, like the blink daggers, and get loader like more of a mid-game oriented fighting carry. And they banned the Slark, so that doesn't... I don't know. I feel like I haven't seen much of Ace play Slark, and I feel like I haven't seen much of Slark in general, let alone successful Slark games.
What's Slark really good against? Slark's
Tanky,
good against
stat-heavy heroes, you know.
I feel like I've seen a couple of Slarks versus Underlords. You know, you've got decent kill potential from that hero in lane, and then also the tankiness of Underlord is a nice for Slark to be able to stat steal off of. That, but then again, I'm actually just surprised in general that Underlord has not been touched, at least in the 3-4 bans, just because no matter what, that hero, even if you try and counter it, does not seem to ever really be truly shut down. They do go for the Venge, third pickup here for Cloud9 and Alliance now with their response.
Yeah, it's kind of like a test the water, see where Alliance go with their draft by picking a Venge up, since it is still flexible, support, core, gives you some save, fits your draft well anyway, so Alliance will most likely react like with the support themselves. I feel like they also want to just wait to see where Cloud9 go with their draft, learn a bit more about what they're doing before they commit too much to any, like getting a secondary core hero.
Now, in my head, when I saw, like, if you pick up this Venge, right, you have a lot of physical damage and minus armor, and if you don't get a mech sustain hero, and if they do want to support, I feel like Dazzle. All right, nice. Dazzle is a pickup from Alliance, but I felt like that hero would be the nice tester. That being said, though, it works well with Slardar. It is physical damage and all that, but do you think that Dazzle Sniper is... I mean, offensively, right, the weave is really good, but defensively, Shallow Grave, Saving Sniper, you would prefer to have a hero that just doesn't allow people to get on top of the Sniper in the first place.
Yeah, I was just about to say, I feel like the obvious response to this Dazzle is an Axe pick. Like, picking the Axe against the Dazzle makes total sense here. It gives you it's something Cloud9 needed anyways, to have that initiating type offlaner. Whether it's like the Hesjo used to play, or the Bat Rider, but that hero's fallen off. He plays like Legion Commander, but I think Axe is just the obvious counterplay to the Dazzle, and it's a hero that you initiate in, and during that Berserker's Call, you've got all that armor, so you're not going to necessarily melt to an amp damage. As far as the Sniper Dazzle goes, I feel like the Slatter Sniper is where you get the offensive coordination. Like, the Corrosive Haze alone is enough for the Sniper to easily pew people down. The Dazzle is not going to get much value with the Sniper in terms of an offensive weave. Perhaps a defensive one if Sniper's getting jumped and he's got that defensive armor on him, but even that, it's like once he's jumped, he's in trouble.
You know, there's some notable heroes that are missing from this draft. The Lone Druid and the Luna have not been touched. Luna would actually fit in, I feel, pretty well with... well, maybe I was going to say it fits well with C9's lineup, but they'd be going into a Sniper. And that's a little bit more difficult, as well as Dazzle with the offensive weave.
I don't like it for Alliance. Like, the Luna Sniper seems like a pretty weak duo, bit too squishy, and the heroes don't really complement each other very well. They go for the Lone Druid, though, the double Sniper. Haven't seen, I presume, Loda play this one, so I think this is a first as far as Alliance go, unless there's a game I perhaps missed out of them, but...
They could still do, depending on the map, they could still do mid Lone Druid and put Sniper safe lane if they feel like the Lone Druid will suit better against SF and presumably Ogre in that lane. So maybe they'll do that. And yeah, the double Sniper route, we're kind of thinking about it, right? The Lone Druid was another notable exception, and Luna doesn't really work well with either lineup here, so... It does mean that Cloud9 are going to be hard-pressed when it comes to high ground, but it should mean they dominate the mid-game because of Lone Druid's power spikes. He presumably will not be the strongest core you could have at 15 minutes, while C9 look very strong in that regard. Whether or not Vengeful Spirit is going to be a safe lane carry, and unless they pick up a very slow hero with SF, Ogre, Axe hitting his Blink Dagger timing, it seems like C9 will be very dominant in that window.
Yeah. Yeah, I think Alliance in the mid game leaving the safety of their base or their towers and shrines is going to be very difficult because at least right now, like Sniper Lone Druid can't easily move out on the map. They're not exactly mobile heroes. Yeah, you've got this Slider as an initiator, but on Cloud9 side, you've got Venge Swaps, you've got Blink Calls, you've got an Ogre who can just walk around scouting stuff out. And Alliance are lacking that kind of secondary, kind of aggressive type playmaking hero. The Clockwork would have perhaps fit quite nicely. You get the cogs for control. It's a good kind of setup and lockdown to enable the Sniper and Lone Druid to help protect them, like just act as a body, be it yourself or your cogs, to stop heroes like Shadow Fiend getting too close to them. But they'll have to look elsewhere for that kind of secondary tank, so to speak, to go with the Slaughter if that's what they have in mind.
Let's see. There's still initiators wise. There's still Bat Rider in the pool. There's
Perhaps
still
Centaur's even an option.
Yeah, I was thinking about Centaur as well, and I was going to ask you, do you know if the Spirit Bear gets the Stampede? I feel like it doesn't.
I don't know. Yeah, that's.
If so, that would be a nice piece of synergy, right, where the bear could run over somebody. But either way, right, it is a nice tanky initiator and gives you some options for Sniper and Lone Druid to work around when they're initiated on, hopefully.
Yeah. I mean, Lone Druid gets pretty damn fast and doesn't necessarily need the Stampede as much, but I still think it's great. The Sniper gets a lot of benefit from it. As for Cloud9, we see Terrorblade banned out, one of the better kind of ranged carries to perhaps be able to at least deal a bit with the Sniper Lone Druid in terms of matching their range, and also takes objectives very well. I think that's where Cloud9, we talk about their draft, having a strong, scary mid-game. Having a hero to break towers faster is going to be able to punish Alliance's lack of real mid-game team fight. So Alliance go for the core Slaughter. They pick up a Rubik. So something Alliance do more than other teams is just pick these strong dual supports in terms of the lanes. Like they like to go for a straight up tri lane with a solo offlaner. Whether that's still going to be the case because it's a Slaughter, we'll have to see. But they're a team more than others that will prioritize securing their safe lane.
So Axe is not going to be enough. Are you feeling core or support here?
For the Axe?
Yeah, sorry. For the last pick, like, Cloud9.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm probably feeling more the core. Okay, they go PA. I feel like they just needed something that's going to scale a bit better. And PA, fantastic option against Lone Druid Sniper. It's all single target physical damage. The supports do no magic damage. Slaughter doesn't do anything. Like, this is all right-click physical. So Blur is going to be incredible this game. Blink Strike gives you a gap closer to fight the Sniper Lone Druid with. This is, on paper, the perfect pick for Cloud9.
Yeah, I was looking over the potential pickups here, and that's why I asked you about the core versus support, because I felt like core wise, if you're gonna go for a last pick core here and not do Venge carry, then you have to have some sort of gap closer first of all, and you have to have some sort of either early BKB hero, or you have to have some sort of hero that can dish out damage and ignore that Savage Roar somehow. And I think the only heroes I could come up with was PA with the early BKB timing. She hits the mid game really hard, which seems to be Cloud9's. Jug with the Omni Slash, but that doesn't feel as good against the Spirit Bear specifically. And it's not as mobile as the PA. And then I think the other one was more of a slower style hero, which would have been the Sven. I haven't seen Sven versus Lone Druid matchup. I presume that it's still Lone Druid favored quite heavily, just because the kiting. But you would reach that very definite peak where you have BKB and Blink.
Yeah, Sven just seems kind of hard to play in the current patch with his item timings. It seems like maybe it's just like an adjustment thing, because it used to be like it was a very clear progression where you'd stack your Ancients at certain times and then hit this like Sven really early, Blink, Echo Saber, Helm of the Dominator timing, and now it seems like a bit more awkward because the Helm of the Dominator isn't like quite the item it used. I mean, it's better in some ways, but for a Sven, it's actually worse since you don't get the lifesteal to go with it. But the PA I think the Terrorblade could have worked for them. Not that it's a mobile core, but because of the range factor. But the PA actually better than the Terrorblade. The Terrorblade was banned, of course, as well as that last ban.
Yeah. Yeah, the Terrorblade would have been a nice, like, pushing hero just to overwhelm Alliance by 20 minutes, right? And that could have been a nice idea. Smoke up, TP's out. Well, for C9 anyway. It's kind of surprising because everyone TP's out right now. Maybe Alliance are going to do some of their signature level 1 shenanigans. Maybe go for a late smoke or something of the like, because
they've got the smoke. But they'll be scouted by this very early ward if they don't pop it soon. So this is likely to be read by Cloud9.
Maybe they're maybe the tricky alliance thing in this game is actually going to be playing super conservatively and just taking their 2 runes, one of which is going to be through the Spirit Bear.
Yeah, and the Spirit Bear scouting things out at top. This 4-man alliance unit around this mid lane, not doing all too much. EGM just taunting his way through the mid lane, showing himself. It's the, hey, I'm warding your high ground, but not really. Everyone should know that that's not actually the case.
We didn't talk about the their decision to go with the offlane Slardar. We were talking about the Centaur. I kind of prefer the offlane Slardar. The Centaur was the only other hero that I could come up with, but I do like the fact that they chose to run this hero offlane and then pick up our Rubik instead, which is a nice quick reaction support hero to C9's initiation.
The one thing I don't like is all they've got is single target physical damage now. I felt like perhaps if they picked up a support that had like a Lina type support or something. I mean, Lina with Dazzle wouldn't have worked too well necessarily, but I feel like they needed like either to diversify their damage output a bit or add some extra team fight, which they still don't have. Like, it's not like this. I mean, the Rubik gives them a very tiny bit depending on what spells he can steal, but realistically, this is more like just like an early game, good laning hero type pickup that can transition and offer some team fight involvement, but I feel like that's still a big gap in what Cloud9 have.
I'm pretty sure the smoke got seen, or at least they know the rotation of the supports. Hanskin and EGM are sitting in the trees. They, as a result, are switching up the lanes. Hestejo will still kind of be caught here. Maybe their exact positioning was a bit of surprise to him, and this will probably be our first blood. He is tanky through the end of this. He's got the PMS. The stun's going to come out, but oh, no, he tries. You got to stun a little bit sooner. Yeah. Homies help homies. Come on now.
Yeah, he needs to stun sooner. Like he pseudo body blocked. It wasn't like a full on body block, but it did make him have to walk a bit around, and then he stunned very late. That was, Rice still waking up perhaps a bit.
Oh dear. Well, either way, it seems like C9 are able to dodge the aggro trend, though this is still going to be awkward. They have to kind of leave Ace alone here because they can't commit to a tri-lane. Otherwise, the 2 supports just come back, and then it's a lone druid tri-lane with 2 supports behind it, and that doesn't feel real good. So I don't know what C9 do with their supports here.
Yeah, Ace is already wanting to be back on that bottom lane now that Dazzle is top and there's an Orb of Venom on Lotus Bear. So yeah, this is not going to be a good lane stage. And I think that's important that Alliance win this lane stage, because otherwise the PA problem is going to be very significant based on how the hero matches up against the Sniper Lone Druid. So they're doing everything they can to try and shut down Ace's early game.
Bit of harassment back and forth between our SF and our Sniper. 8 and 7 on Sniper so far. Whew. Limp's taking it to him. Baby Knight will, of course, pick up that jungle farm as well and start building up those souls. So it's expected slow start.
Yep. Mid lane. Some aggression coming in. EGM with a haste rune. Can pull him back into the shrapnel.
That's just so unfair. Is that triple shrapnel? 1, 2, 3. Yeah. That whole entire area is covered.
As he hits level 3 timing as well. Really nicely timed. And I mean, part of it's having a haste rune. I think even without a haste rune, potentially you could get in behind him and make that play even regardless, but the haste rune makes it that much easier.
You know, some fun. Gonna be spotted out here by Rise. This support Vengeful Spirit is actually turning a little bit into a core with the way that he's been able to take most of this solo farm bottom.
Yeah, Rise is normally that hard 5, not getting too much. I mean, some games will get farm because Noy is playing heroes like the Ogre, who is that pseudo 4 position in terms of the fact he's roaming and moving around the map more, but doesn't actually farm as much as some of the laning supports go. But right now, yeah, lane's overall pretty good. PA has managed to farm at least okay at the top lane just by using the Stifling Dagger, but is now going to like fall back into the jungle, use the Shrine. And,
you think she probably Iron Talons maybe
can? What's she holding on to? She gets the poor man's shield.
Okay. I'm just wondering how much time he plans on spending inside jungle.
Yeah, it's maybe worth doing regardless because it's just some casual armor as well.
Yeah,
it's not too big of a gold investment to get an extra couple points in armor, and you're going to hold on to that Quelling Blade for some time.
All right, nope, they are not going to force Ace to do this skimping jungle / half lane situation any longer. They are going to rotate Hestejo up to top lane. He's level 4 now, so he can make jungle work pretty well, and they can put a lot more pressure onto Yonosumfan with this combination of PA and Vengeful Spirit.
Yep. This is the laning step that C9 wanted, ideally from level 1. We'll see if Alliance take both supports back down bottom to pressure the PA again, but they're kind of at that stage where it's harder to do so. Now that the PA has some levels, these Rubik Dazzle supports are now squishy. Level 1, they're not squishy because there's no damage output from the PA, but now that PA has the Blightstone, is going to pick up some boot soon, presumably, like a level 5 PA with a Venge Stun or an Ogre rotation is going to find very easy kills.
Yeah, the introduction of those early orbs, really beneficial for a couple heroes. One being the Spirit Bear, having, well, if you want to, have 2 different orbs, one on the bear and the other on the actual hero. And then the PA with the dagger, applying that one, the Blightstone, and the dagger damage is insane. Toss back into Noya. They're actually going to turn and try and kill Limp here. Baby Knight knows he's not making out alive underneath all this shrapnel, but they don't get the second raise in, which means Limp's not threatened. He turns around and kills Rise as well, and Alliance's laning stage just seems to get better and better.
Yeah, absolutely. This is very well executed with the support play, and Hanskin and EGM always being in the right lanes to have the impact they need. EGM's already got the money to pick up some arcane boots now, and I feel like now that you've kind of secured your lanes, your next goal is to maintain that pressure on the PA. Perhaps we see some kind of a smoke play down bottom with the 2 supports. Loda shouldn't need too much help up top. Doesn't get the last hit on the tower. Hestejo does get the Nai there. Loda thinks about diving. He is level 5 with an Entangle. Could theoretically get this kill, but his bear is a bit too low for now.
Yeah, I think because the supports are off map right now, he's a little bit scared that they could be rotating up to that tower, especially as it was dropping low. But instead, in the bottom lane, kind of securing an Invis rune doesn't really do too much for them so far, but it is C9's. Oh, they actually just fill up a bottle, give the Invis to Rise, and they'll try again on this mid lane.
Didn't get scattered by the dire side, so this could be something Limp does not expect. No stun on the Ogre, though, just the Bloodlust.
EGM comes in, immediately Limp is going to be stunned, turned around, Baby Knight hits a medium raise, and the long one will manage to finish up Limp. Now they're going to try and get EGM as well. Unfortunately, still no level 6 for Rise, so no swap back, but Baby Knight might still be able to get him 2 right clicks, and 2 raises is all it takes to kill a support. Double kill for Baby Knight. This time around, it goes very good for Cloud9, especially with Limp being so far up in CS as well as experience. That kill was worth a lot.
Getting dived.
TP in, miss. Oh, nice jump forward. Now Rise is here, and a crit, of course. Just add insult to injury. I'm sure he was dead anyway, but it makes it all the cooler. Ace outplays Yonosumfan with a clutch Phantom Strike.
Yeah, nice little bait there, and Yonosumfan getting close to getting the kill there, but at the end of the day, that's what PA does best, be very elusive, bouncing around, and suddenly things get a lot more equalized thanks to those last couple of plays there. Secures up the PA's early game, takes the sniper down a notch, and it was really all off of that Invis room. Very good strategic call, giving it to Rise and letting Baby Knight bait it out in this mid lane to set up on the sniper. So feels like this laning stage is looking a whole lot better for Cloud9 all of a sudden.
See, it's 8 minutes in. How's our net worth looking? Lone Druid, Loda totally free farming. Baby Knight second, not too far away. And I think another important thing, Hestejo is getting a decent amount out of his off lane. They gave him that secured farm in the first couple of levels, and he's turned that into some pretty proficient neutraling. He should have a well-timed Blink Dagger, which we talked about that initiation, how important it is versus Alliance's long-range snipers.
Here's the big move bottom. They bring load in everything. It looks like Sniper may even consider coming down for a full 5-man. And with this creep pull, I don't think you want to be anywhere near this tower, Ace. He's amped up. The creep pull almost guarantees this tower going down. It'll be the second tower for Alliance. This one will presumably not be denied, and I don't think you even attempt to defend this one. You just take what farm you can get in the top and the middle of the map. They are drawing lines as if they want to go down towards that bottom lane, but the response it's already too late to defend this, so yeah, I think they realize they got to back off.
Yeah, I think this is one of the... We talk about Lone Druid and how he does not having very good timing around 15-20 minutes, but he does have a very good timing about around 10, where he's got his level 4 Spirit Bear, and I like the fact more and more teams are doing this. They move the Lone Druid into a lane, sort of like the way that, like, what was it, like the Tide Hunters would get level 6, and they just move into a lane and they bully down a tower just via their presence and some damage hitters, and this is kind of similar. Loda gives them all the pushing power they need and also all the fighting power, so they just bully down towers. And C9 played safe, waiting on their mid-game timings. They are going to try and dive Baby Knight here. They do have the Crows of Haze as well as the Assassinate, but Baby Knight, Jonas Afon's closing that distance. He has a crush coming up, but won't be able to catch him. It looks like EGM, he is going to be dying instead. Cloud9 do respond just in time to be able to save the SF's life and claim a kill.
Whew, just a little bit too deep, and Slada, the 2 points in the sprint, not enough to close that gap. That is a good turnaround for Cloud9 Alliance. I mean, that's one of those like millisecond difference things. If Slada just runs in maybe a millisecond sooner, or SF is just like a fraction of a second later on his retreat, you do find that kill and potentially the tower as well. But all in all, Alliance still kind of poised to keep taking objectives. They want to bring low to mid. They can try and pressure that tier 1 tower. But C9 are starting to get some key levels and items themselves. They're just about to get that first Helm of the Dominator on Ace, and that's very useful to have for these early fights. If you can get something like a Frost Mage to give him some ice armor, even the Purge Creep just to help dealing, like, to slow, constantly spam and slow people down, get rid of the amp damage as well. There's a lot of useful creeps Ace can find in this game.
Yeah, I'm kind of feeling like they missed their timing there. I thought they would pull Lone Druid into the mid lane, and they might be able to get that mid tower before the blink, but now it's up on Hesta Joe. Hesta Joe chasing Hanskin. They went for Smoke Gank, hoping to be able to catch Loda here. No such luck on the spins either, so Hesta Joe may actually die here, as he's going to be slowed down, maybe caught by the Spirit Bear. Unfortunately, no entangles just yet. Noya's going to be the next one, still no entangle, and now the dagger slows down the bear, so no pursuit now.
I have a question for you, Cap. PA hasn't decided herself. Do you think you max Blink Strike or Blur first this game? Because typically you max Blur for the Blink Strike first, the Phantom Strike. But this is one of those games where perhaps you consider Blur.
I think the Lone Druid is such a problem with his bear that you max out Blur.
Yeah. So like 4-1-4, you think?
Yeah, I think so. Maybe not the full 4-1, because I kind of feel like you want Phantom Strike still maxed out by like level 12 or 13 or something, but maybe a couple extra value levels. It's hard to say, right? Because then the headshot gets more value on the sniper.
Yeah, I really don't know what the answer is there. And for now, he's gone for 2-2. He got a point in Blur at 8, then he went back for a point in Phantom Strike. It seems like he sees value in both and doesn't want to make a full commitment to maxing either.
We'll have those phase boots, and that'll be another big upgrade. Has the potential for much larger crit damages here. Hesta Joe pops his head out. Whoa! A little bit overshoots that Blink Dagger. Misses the opportunity to get a call onto Loda. Now he's Savage Roared up. They go for the Blink backward, but it's still not enough. The Assassinate damage is there. Loda actually gets blown up by Baby Knight, who was on the high ground, came down with double raise. They're going to finish off Hanskin as well. Ace is looking to be able to close the distance with Limp, while Jonas Afan managed to hit a crush and finishes off Noya, but now he's slowed down by that dagger. Headshot 1, slowing down Ace. Ace not quite in range for the Phantom Strike here. He's actually stuck in an awkward position. He needs help from his team, but Jonas Afan, a Phantom Strike, but an Assassinate is here. They're going to finish it off, and Baby Knight can't actually stop that. He's got a Corrosive Haze, turns around 1-2, trying to finish off Jonas Afan. The ultimate is not able to go off in time, so instead it's the death animation that will kill Jonas Afan, but Alliance come out big time, in part because of the Blink Dagger on Jonas.
Yeah, his Blink crashes, getting everyone amped up, made all the difference there, and Loda's positioning wasn't the greatest because he got caught from the high ground by the SF, but Sniper was the hero that went unnoticed, and it's one of the big problems with this Alliance draft. Like, PA and Axe can perhaps get on top of one of the two, but doing it to both is a much bigger ask. So while they deal with Loda very quickly and on in the fight, Sniper did 3.3k damage in that fight. That was more than half of the entire hero damage from Alliance, and all of that due to like the Slaughter just constantly hazing people up, the constant disable and control from him, and even the shrapnel being very well placed on that high ground.
It seems like C9, I think they did a good job. They gave up that safe lane tower. They did manage to defend mid. They kept their tier 1 up there, got the Blink Dagger, but you know, it was all good, all fine and dandy until they picked up that Blink Dagger, and ever since then, their choices and their initiations from C9 have been completely off.
Yeah, fighting around that bottom shrine was a very tough spot to go for it. That mid lane one was okay if they landed the Blink Call and instantly had the PA was TPing in as he went for it, but missing it really hurt them. So we'll see how this next fight or two go for them. They've got 3 points in the Bloodlust, so theoretically Ace can dish out a lot of damage very quickly. May look to wait for like the Desolate pickup, but that's still a decent ways off, and I think Cloud9 don't want to just sit back and idly farm while Alliance and give Alliance room to use their Blink themselves, because Alliance are somewhat more teamfight ready.
Hanskin is baiting right now, but it does seem to be a little bit obvious to C9. Ace is not going to take that bait. You'll notice some fun sitting on the side here with the Blink Dagger, and then they had EGM on the Shrine, who is actually going to be able to pick up an Urn. That is something that's a bit missing, I guess, from their roster with a Slardar going for the early Blinks, so EGM will get that sustain item instead.
Yep. It's important to have at least one in the team when the way these fights are going and to stop potential Blinks from the Axe, so nice little pickup. Right now, Alliance, they've got very good map vision around the Radiant jungle and this mid lane, so I imagine, yeah, they are going to be eyeing off this mid-tier 1 tower. Glyph is already forced out, but it will be traded for top. Rise getting the last step there, and yeah, this Venge finding some farm here and there, so we'll perhaps provide a second Helm with the Dominator.
Slow down Limp, and do manage to get a nuke on him. This is pretty good. Oh no, a failed call from Hesta Joe. They get him a 4-staff backwards, trying to save his life, but with the Assassinate and Telekinesis, he's definitely dead, and that may be the opportunity for Alliance to finally finish off this Tier 1 tower. Again, Hesta Joe just having a rough game in this opening game. And best of 3 series initiation from Jonas Samfon onto Noya. He's tanky, but Maelstrom makes pretty short work of him. He does have an enemy battle hunger on him, but he is not going to tick out.
Yeah, not enough mana for the Assassinate from the Sniper. Meant you would barely survive. And again, it was that high ground observerwood vision around that mid lane that really set Alliance up to succeed there. And well, fight goes well for them. That was one of those calls where like it looked bad that he missed it, but I feel like even if he landed it, the outcome would have been exactly the same, where he was just diving in a bit too deep, and that instant lift from EGM was going to catch, as well as the blink crash from Slider was going to hit him regardless. So even if he calls the Sniper, perhaps Limp gets down to maybe half HP and at least takes some damage, but I don't see that fight working well for Cloud9 either way.
It's like the initiation on Dazzle here. It's so far out there, and it's a single hero, call that's probably not going to result more than one spin. It's just like, it's not going to work out. That the game plan itself is flawed, not necessarily just the initiation. So C9, you gotta get their heads into this a little bit better. If Alliance aren't going to take that Tier 1 tower, if they're not going to force it, then there's no need to force a fight. I think C9 should be more than happy to farm at this point in time, because their big spike is not until 20-25 minutes.
I mean, they're still a ways off a few crucial items, like the PA Desolator wasn't completed or anything. They don't have that great burst damage for whoever Axe calls, and that's really the big problem. Alliance have great heroes to play against the call, the instant lift, the blink crush, instantly disabling him, and I think more than anything, like the Dazzle heal, like you call someone, you suddenly take a heal bomb to the face as well. Hanskin didn't even level Grave early. The last fight around mid lane, he didn't have Grave at level 7. I think he got his first point at level 8, just because he's playing against an Axe, and he's like, this max heal is going to do more. Axe blinks on us, I heal that target, suddenly Axe gets it turned around on him.
Oh, I didn't even notice that. Hanskin with a Medallion of Courage already. That is... I mean, that's one of my favorite things about Dazzle, right? He's able to clear through waves with his... when he does max out the heal, pushes pretty good. So he's actually got a nice chunk of change in his pocket, even if he is...
Alliance.
Yeah, they pick up the haste rune.
Hesta Joe gonna blink in. He's there. Does he know? Yeah, they've seen the
wolf, and yeah, they know about it. They'll lose their wolf commander. Oh, stun on a Hesta Joe, but Ace is sitting there at the shrine. ready to jump anybody that overextends a little bit too far. EGM's going to be trapped inside the shrine, does receive a shallow grave. Hesta Joe is not in the region to be able to get the Culling Blade, so it looks like a successful TP. In the backlines, though, Ace is trying to go for Limp, but he's now been stunned up. Hesta Joe still trying to get that call, will manage to land it. They also get a crit out, but he's not getting any spins, so Hesta Joe finally gets the Culling Blade back over to Loda, who's trying to 1 versus 3 right now to finish off Noya. Hesta Joe and Jonas Afan separate, double nukes go on to the Bear, finishing that one off, but Loda is just trying to ward C9 away from the Roshan pit, and at least that bit will be successful. Alliance, is that actually a 1 for 2 trade-off in total? It looks like it.
Rubik got away with the TP out, but good jump from Cloud9. I mean, even though you don't kill the Rubik there, you take him out of the fight. EGM could have perhaps TP'd to the shrine and used the shrine by himself, and then at least being able to get back into the fight, but even that, I don't know if it would have necessarily made a difference, so good execution there. And Cloud9 get a lot stronger. Just having like a Vanguard on the axe is going to make a big difference for his initiations. It means he doesn't get punished as hard. If he can land that call, typically he's going down as soon as he goes in, so this Vanguard gives him a bit of extra survivability. The Blade Mail going to be the next nice pickup. Oxy going to go for the Crimson Guard first, so recognizing it's all this right-click physical damage, wants some damage block for him and his team.
Okay, I'm done with that. At first, when I saw the Vanguard, I was like, I don't know. Blade Mail feels pretty good against Sniper and Lone Druid, but if he actually does get the full completed Crimson Guard, I guess that does add a lot more viability to C9's lineup when they go for a real push, and they'll have a lot more sustainability against the Alliance poke.
It reminds me of like the PA question, like, do you want to go Blink or blur, and I'm like, you really want both. Both have so much value this game. So I guess for Axe, it's like, well, where do you fit the Blade Mail? If he doesn't go back for a Blade Mail after Crimson Guard, I think I'll be a little dubious of it. I mean, there is some other valuable items like a 4-staff, so you can Blink Call and then maybe 4-staff out of a tough spot, but for the Blade Mail, it's just such a fantastic 4-staff.
Good reactions there from Baby Knight. He still got hit by the stun, but then on the high ground, he can turn around, almost finishing off Jonas Fon. Again, Hesta Joe's not around. A dagger, slightly ill-timed.
He's very low still, but the Dazzle Heals will keep him healthy enough.
They do have the Desolator, though, for C9. With Baby Knight completing a BKB, I think they've reached their peak. They have the Crimson Guard completed as well for Hesta Joe, so I think you've got all the items you need. Hesta Joe and the rest of Cloud9, shrine up, go for a push in mid. It's almost dead anyway.
You'd love to take this tower so that you can easier take smoke moves like to the enemy side of the map, go into their jungle, and also secure yourselves Roshan. I think now, I mean, they've seen Alliance attempt Roche. Both teams really want to go for this Roche early. Venge doesn't micro the creep in the Roche pit, loses it, so that's kind of some scouting capabilities lost, but he gets another one. He finds an Alpha Wolf, and right now, Roshan is... Whoever gets this first Roche is going to be in a big strategic advantage, and I think even more so for Cloud9 because their Aegis carrier, the PA, is a hero that wants to dive in and play aggressive. Sniper or Lone Druid with an Aegis, it's like, well, they're sitting back, auto-attacking regardless. In any situation where they lose 1 life, they'll often lose 2. So if Cloud9 get an Aegis, they'll be poised to really start pressing it to Alliance and taking objectives, taking some big fights.
Yeah, especially since C9 have that potential for an instant kill on the 2nd life with Baby Knight.
This next fight gets tougher with the Mionia. That's a lot of AoE magic damage. You can put that on the Bear, can put that on a teammate like the Slaughter when Jonas wants to blink in. So there's a nice boost to Alliance's damage output.
And, we almost have the completed Hurricane Pike for the Sniper as well, and that'll really help out because these Blink Daggers, you mentioned the 4-staff, and I was like, man, he kind of does need a 4-staff just because it seems like his Blink may not be enough. Like, they can only smoke into these fights so often, and they're dealing with 2 heroes that are sitting at 900 range plus. That Blink Dagger is only going to be able to cross so much of that distance, you know, so that Hurricane Pike is going to be another good example of how Alliance are going to be able to stay ahead of this one. The Mjolnir static charged up Spirit Bear appears inside the Roshan pit. Hurricane Pikes it away, does get some damage in. There's a Hesta Joe initiation onto 2, catching Loda, almost finishing him off, but he can't get the Cooling Blade. He's been telekinesis and Loda's getting away. He does have Ignite on him, but a healing salve, a little bit more. No, he still takes out, ends up dying there. Hesta Joe gets hit by an Assassinate, so he's not able to make his initiation and still gets hit by Jonas Fon. But Alliance do have to back away. Still, there's the call. Hesta Joe does manage to catch Jonas, stalling up long enough for the rest of the team to get here. They hit a dagger. Wasn't a crit, though. So Jonas will survive. Hesta Joe back to base for him. A little bit too scared of an Assassinate from Limp.
Yeah, instantly losing the Aegis, but still good fight. Slatter's going to TP right in.
Oh, wow. He thinks that because Hester Joe's gone, they can actually fight this one around, but a Limp in trouble. A long-range Phantom Strike does get on top of him. A stun out onto Jonas Umfan, so they're going to turn onto that offlaner instead, but C9 are in an awkward position right next to that Tier 2. Fighting into that Shallow Grave is a bit dangerous, so they will back away. Hester Joe will now join them for the team fight once again. Jonas.
That was a dubious TP.
Yeah. I think he thought because the axe wasn't there, he's like, oh, Shallow Grave has so much value. Now maybe we can fight into them, but...
They were down, I guess it was like, there was 3 of them there with the Dazzle looking, yeah, like you say, had the Shallow Grave, they had the Slatter as well as the Sniper, so they felt like they could fight. But yeah, the PA is very scary at this point. Has that level 15 now, so gets the lifesteal as well. And Ace will be working on that important BKB timing that we talked about during the draft as well.
An Invis Hester Joe Rotten making his way up towards the top lane here. Hanskin may be the go here. Yeah, they're going to jump onto him. Actually, can't get the Culling Blade out in time. The damage is too quick from Ace.
Loda, oh, they're going to go on the Bear instead.
Nah, the Alliance do have Limp and Jonas Umfan making their way over from mid lane. They may actually try and jump, but that's a bad idea. C9 are also bringing in reinforcements as Baby Knight is about to join them.
Yeah. Ace with the Ice Armor is got that extra bit of survivability. A lot of armor on him. I feel like this Dazzle does still need to use the Weave defensively, though, because there's such good gap close with the Axe and the PA. Just putting the Weave onto Loader and Limp is probably the more important approach to taking a fight. But as it stands, C9, even without an Aegis, still looking to take it to the Alliance side of the map. We'll get a free Tier 2 tower, and Alliance are just looking for trades at bottom lane.
Yeah, Jonas Umfan is leading the way there, but not too surprising that C9 make that push, go all the way up to the Tier 3 tower, forcing somebody back, and then they'll start rotating to defend their Tier 2 bottom. So taking free Tier 2, losing maybe a bit of damage on their bottom lane, but nothing too significant as long as they don't get picked off while they're rotating around the map, and it doesn't look like Alliance is searching for a pick-off. C9, very clear advantage for them now.
Fall back, Baby now restore some of his mana. About to hit level 18, so that'll be the level 3 Requiem in this upcoming fight. Not much ability to stop that because of the BKB.
And, Joe, you ballsy as hell.
Yeah, he wants that blade mail.
Farming up Ancients underneath the Alliance Shrine like that. They had vision of him too, but he does blink away before anything can happen to him. He'll finish up that blade well now. Big increase in damage now with his initiation against the Lone Druid and Sniper.
Yeah, in the past he'd blink in, call, and then often get lifted up, Slatter crushed, and well, in the earlier fights he was dying, but even in recent ones he's taking a lot of damage. This blade mail really helps protect him. It's like a pseudo BKB in some ways where you pop it, people don't want to hit you or use stuff on you because you're going to get turned around on, so Alliance will have to be careful about how they approach these next couple of fights. Really feels like the PA more than PA and the Axe more than anything are just going to, if they get on top of the Sniper or Lone Druid, the fight could just instantly be over.
One of the great things, PA used to be such a terrible tower pusher. Remember that? You know, it's like your damage was based off of crit and you didn't get Deso back in the day. So, but now this PA is actually an excellent tower pusher. So not just because of the Desolator, but also because of the fact that we've got Noya here. So that actually gives you that attack speed increase that you're missing out on when facing buildings.
Yep. And this is the second last out of tower, so another one's going to fall with all that physical damage, and it looks like Cloud9 can't take shrines just yet. They will fall back, at least cover themselves, but both teams will be probably eyeing off taking those shrines as soon as possible if they can take all these out of towers. For now, both teams are just trading towers on opposite sides of the map. No Aegis means it's a bit harder for C9 to force a high ground push, but they're also happy to play a more farming game because they've still got a lot of room to grow on both PA as well as SF. PA gets a lot scarier with a Basher. SF get a lot scarier with something like a Butterfly for himself, or a Skadi, for example. A lot of just stat or armor items he can get to help out the team. Good AC game even if he wants to go for that.
Oh, that's true. That's actually not too bad of an idea. Spirit Bear manning up against the Helma Dominator melee creep at 1400 HP. Classic.
Yeah. I like how Ace just doesn't even care what creep he's got anymore. He's just like, I'll just go send some creep to scout somewhere on the map.
It really just does not matter. The cooldown's not very long. It takes them a really long time to kill it. Doesn't give them very much gold. You just send out creep after creep.
You know?
Yeah.
I mean, Observer Wards are one of the best items in the game. I mean, obviously, they're very cheap, but they're also limited source of them. And being able to move one around the map to scout everything is strategically very strong.
And then our other Helmet Dom creep here is giving everybody 66% increase in damage whenever Venge is around between her aura and the Wolf Leader pack aura.
Plus 201 on Shadow Fiend with his items and those auras. Not bad. And when he's not next to them, it's plus 106. So he gets an extra 100 right-click damage thanks to the auras.
Look at Ace. He's trying to dodge around the Savage Roar. He Phantom Striked in, only got one hit, and then immediately backed out. You know, he's like, okay, I stopped the return. Don't want to get hit by Savage Roar. And now they got it.
Stop it again. Yeah, that's a dead Spirit Bear. Where is it?
Another dagger. Pew! Oh, yeah. 746 damage. Good.
No split push threat really out there on the map for Alliance, so they're going to lose complete control of their side of the map. Radiant Vision surrounds the Dire base, top and bottom, by their secret shop.
I know it's not a position that Loda feels comfortable with in this game. There is a lot of initiation, but I feel like he does always have to be outside of the base just to be giving that potential split push threat.
Yeah.
Because otherwise C9 get control and they push high ground.
And the other, I mean, part of the problem for him is right now he's not level 20 yet. Doesn't have that mighty 50-second respawn time because he's died in a few fights, often dying and limp surviving. He's just a little bit behind where he'd ideally like to be as a lone druid. And boy, Baby Knight has just been... Oh, they got a
There's a nice initiation with the BKB. PA throws out a dagger on Yono Fun, but he's got a Ghost Scepter. They are going to try and respond, but there shouldn't really be much made of it. Out there, Loda, Lone Druid, they are missing a very large chunk of their damage.
Yeah, they'll take the free kill and back on out. Wait for Roche, most likely, with that respawn coming anytime in the next 3 minutes. Will be a relatively shorter side respawn.
Baby Knight. Is he looking just cut creep waves? They do have this aggressive ward, spots out some of the rotations. That's going to be countered now by Hanskin. Baby Knight spots Yono some fun, misses the crush, and immediately dispels off that corrosive haze.
He is ridiculously farmed for a Shadow Fiend. And it's not like he's been, I mean, he's been fighting involved in some of the kills, like he's 6 and 3, but I don't feel like he's been like getting massive kills in fights to get him farmed. He's just been CSing away this entire game. I mean, 290 CS, 230 on the sniper, but Baby Knight has been playing the farm game very heavily and is seeing himself well rewarded in terms of overall net worth.
Yeah, soon Baby Knight's going to be playing a sniper light role himself with that level 25 talent. He's going to, with the Satanic, have great high ground pushing opportunities with the sustain offered to him. Heads to Joe, sees his Observer Ward being countered, but he wants to be able to go on Limp, does get the Blade Mail out. Look at the damage that Limp's dealing to himself. Now Ace jumps in, finished off the job with the coup de grace. Hanskin, gonna get caught, gonna get bashed by a dagger. He's done so. Time to force some buybacks.
Yeah, force buyback. Even without an Aegis, you don't have PA BKB, so Ace needs to perhaps be careful about hitting the tower, but until those buybacks come out.
Oh, an immediate jump in, finish off EGM. Okay. Gets a decent amount of damage on the Spirit Bear as well. That's going to be finished off by Baby Knight. Now, Hestejo needs some assistance. Force Staff 1, Force Staff 2. He does get out. Buybacks forced. Tier 3 tower down. As long as C9 don't get caught on their way out, this is looking like a perfect exchange.
Yeah. Ace gets low to the Assassinate, but he's still more than okay, and they can just head straight towards the Roshan pit off of that, knowing that there's still 2 dead supports, no Shrine for Alliance to TP2. If they don't actually scout it out, it looks like they may want to Shrine up first. Okay, there we go. They've seen it now, but Alliance are just so trapped on their side of the map right now. The Radiant Vision has been somewhat taken away. They're about to lose their one Observer Ward as well to the timer, but even so, I think Alliance are just playing too dark on the map to reliably make a move out.
I blinked and Roshan was dead.
Yeah, I actually moved my camera for like 2 seconds away to see what Alliance are doing, and then I'm like, whoa, Cloud9 weren't even in the Roche pit last time I looked.
Yeah, all of a sudden I watch Ace and he just like double crits and Roshan disappears. They pick up Aegis. Hester Joe did a good job cutting that creep wave at bottom. There's a decent push coming out there. Puts a stopper in that one real quick. And Alliance, they're holed up in their base and they seem to be very confident, or at least more confident in their high ground defending abilities than their split push. But I am not convinced this is going to go well for them. I really feel like they need a threat.
Axe is just going to jump a Lone Druid or a Sniper if possible, and then that hero is instantly dead. There's no saving them with a Grave reliably. Perhaps a Savage Roar that's well timed, but even that is unreliable with the BKB up now on PA.
Oh no, Jonas and Fun caught outside the base. Alliance are supposed to have this very treacherous high ground, but now they've lost their initiator. An offensive weave goes down. Cloud9 could wait this one out, still have decent amount of time where Slardar's dead, and they could push high ground probably in a 15-second window.
I mean, they could go now, even with the weave on those heroes, because Ace doesn't have it. Ace is the one who's going to want to be diving in aggressively. Perhaps without the Axe, it's a bit harder, but yeah, no bonus armor on Sniper. Lone Druid has to stay very far away. He's just trying to push out that top lane, and yeah, Baby Knight's in there with the weave wearing off.
So the buyback is going to be used by Jonas and Fon, but the melee Rax is still going to be falling here. Baby Knight, helpful Force Staff. Ace is actually taking a lot of damage from Loda and that bear, but the bear dies, and Loda is now without one for 45 seconds.
Satanic for Baby Knight actually works pretty nicely against the Spirit Bear. It's like a free heal up. Just if you pop the Satanic and start right-clicking it for a couple seconds, so to be very careful how you approach find you've got the crush and the lift, but against Satanic you really need good, reliable, like consistent lockdown to be able to stop Baby Knight just healing back up once he gets down to half HP, and that's something it feels like Alliance they're kind of lacking. I mean, maybe if they had more damage on Sniper Lone Druid, wouldn't be saying that, but it feels like his items are going to keep him well alive for plenty of time to get the Satanic off.
Esther Joe's actually going to get a BKB. I was wondering what his next item was going to be because they don't have an AC hero right now, so I thought maybe that would be his choice. But the BKB allow him to ignore some of these disables when he initiates instead.
It's going to be a Manta style now on PA. May look to he's going to replace the Helm of the Dominator and use that to help get rid of that corrosive haze.
Scotty finished up for Limp. That'll help push C9 back, slows them down on their retreat, maybe allows them to be able to get a catch. Tower's left with 9 HP, so the next time C9 push forward, they'll probably have that tower denied.
And still plenty of time left on the Aegis to
They know this bear is constantly off cooldown. So Loda, now it's going to be 89 seconds.
Makes a difference. Like if your hero's gone on, often you need to use the Savage Roar on your bear, or even the Savage Roar on your bear to save a teammate. So the roar on your hero itself is nowhere near as useful as the one on the bear. Slowly but surely, C9 are breaking through the Alliance infrastructure.
Yeah, slowly is apparently the key word here. They're not going to go high ground right now. I think the timing on Aegis is probably wearing out. But it makes me wonder if they're not going to fight because Aegis is wearing out, if they're actually going to wait for another round of Roche.
I mean, it's a full minute still. I feel like that's enough time to force this top lane. When the PA is like a little low on HP, there's no... The BKB on Axe is the major item that's not there. Okay, so they'll have the BKB on Axe coming out of the courier, but it does seem a bit surprising, just like you said, how slow they're going, how like cautiously they are treating this high ground defense. But again, it's Lone Druid Sniper, two of the best like high ground defenders in the game because of their range. So now with the BKB coming out for Axe, they will go for it.
Back into the deep we go. Jonas Amfan misses his initiation, will get out because of the Ghost Scepter. Another Manta popped. Ace gets rid of that corrosive haze. He focuses on one building. Baby Knight does the other. Ace dropping lower and lower. I think he's committing here. The Aegis is going to be failing soon, so better let it go down now. Hester Joe looks like he got caught by a shrapnel and missed his blink there. Ace on round 2 pops his BKB, finishes off the melee racks, and jumps back to his teammates. Again, another clean escape from C9. Hestejo thinking about going back in. I think his team probably called him off, though. They got everything they wanted out of that. Best not to push your luck.
Wasn't anything pretty about that push, but it got the job done. Just a good old, let's pop BKB, right-click the buildings. Let's right-click the buildings while dying with Aegis. Nothing nuanced about it, but Cloud9 get the objectives and put themselves in a position to close out this game with the next Roshan. Wow, that's a very aggressive... I mean, I'd seen Loda queue up the Skadi, then he swapped to the BKB, and now he's committed to a Desolator as his item of choice on the Lone Druid.
It does feel like their physical damage is lacking when SF and PA are just hitting on those buildings.
Ooh, another miscrush. Jonas is getting kited around by these Hurricane Pikes.
And they smoke out, but it doesn't... Nothing really comes of it. C9 can just play defensively right now. They've got top lane pushing in with super creeps. Mid lane will also eventually push in. Hestejo goes for the 4-step forward. Managed to get the blink onto Loda. That's a big one. Culling Blade. Finish them off. No save from Hanskin possible with that shallow gray. Baby Knight. He goes for the other damage dealer, ignoring most of them. Forces Limp back. Now they'll finish off Hanskin. Baby Knight keeps on pushing Limp farther and farther back. Looks like Jonas Amfont did manage to get away. But now they're going to have to fight without the Lone Druid. He was level 19 still. Oh. Hestejo. Okay, that was a silly death. Maybe Ace can make the better of it or not. Needs to pop his BKB here if he really wants to be able to jump on Liv. Does manage to get the bash. Maybe this is it. 4-step forward. And a couple more right clicks. They do get him. Jonas Amfont gets stunned up. Now the ultimate let go by Baby Knight. Does hit the back lines. Limp is hoping to be able to finish off Ace, but he gets another Phantom Strike away. They turn their attention towards the buildings. Limp, he just cannot seem to outpush the damage to really force C9 back fast enough. It's just going to be a range racks left. That's it. Swap back. Limp is probably dead now, and Alliance will call it. GG.
Okay. It was a pretty close game one, at least for the start. It felt like Alliance, their laning stage, very good. That was really where they shined, but once we got to the mid game, we just started seeing the reliable initiation coming in from the Axe, and I feel like the supporting cast around the Shadow Fiend and PA offered more than like what Rubik Dazzle did in the mid to late game. Rubik Dazzle, very good as far as shoring up the lanes, giving Alliance a good early game advantage. We saw PA really struggle to find a lane to farm, but we saw the weakness of the support duo come mid to late game because they didn't do anywhere near what like the Venge was doing as far as having the swap initiations, amping up all the damage, that plus 60% damage, whatever it was. Noya with the Bloodlust and Falstaff helping out the team. I feel like the cores functioned very similarly on both teams, but the supports were more effective from Cloud9.
Yeah, C9. It's just such a bad sign for Alliance when that laning phase went so well, and Cloud9, like Hestejo had an off game in the beginning. There's no two ways about it. His initiation was real bad the first like 4 times he tried, but in the end, they still end up just destroying the mid game, and half the time the high ground push, like the initiation wasn't even needed. It seemed like Baby Knight and Ace were so farmed, and the damage from Limp and Loda was lacking that they were able to just punish buildings without anything needed from Hestejo or Rise.
Yeah, and both carries going for Mantis, it meant that if they got jumped by the slider, they could instantly get rid of that Corrosive Haze. And often it's not being reapplied. The second Jonas goes in with a Blink Crush, Corrosive Haze, he had to back off. He was using his Ghost Scepter and his full staff to get out of there. So it didn't really feel like the Lone Druid and Sniper even had that Corrosive Haze to boost up their damage in a lot of these fights. And yeah, Alliance were just on the back foot. Like once they were put on the back foot by Cloud9, they didn't really have a good way to come back in other than just try and hope for a good high ground defense.
Game 1. Clean win for Cloud9, just like the first series they had against Alliance. Alliance desperately need to shake things up if they want to be able to keep their hopes alive in the DAC qualifier. We'll be back.